hard work, dedication, sacrifices, just believing in yourself, just taking steps forward, not listening to people who put intentions in your mind that you can't achieve something, and following your goals, following your dream, following your heart. I believe that the thing that matters the most, yes, education is important. I'll never say it's not for certain things.
Absolutely.
But what's more important than education is having experience and having tried something yourself. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. What matters is giving it a shot, because eventually you're gonna hit it. Like it's like taking an axe, right, and trying to hit a tree and breaking the tree. You're not gonna get it the first time. Right. You're going to keep failing. You might hit that thing 10,000 times and fail, but eventually you hit it, the tree's going to collapse.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens, right? So you will eventually hit your goal. You just have to be consistent and keep working and moving forward.
So
and that's what I did.
That's an amazing journey.
Now, establish morning routines and build a network of talented colleagues and mentors is very important, right? So the future is unpredictable, but continuously learning and help us reach unpredictable changes in order to avoid stagnation and achieve moments you're proud of. By staying ahead of our learning, we are better equipped for drastic changes.
What happens is it's normal. After a certain age, you have to get your blood work done.
Absolutely.
After a certain age, there's certain things you just have to do.
Absolutely.
If you don't, you're gonna have problems in certain aspects of your life. That's just what's gonna happen. Like no one can understand your passion except for yourself. Maybe one or two people if you're lucky. And in my case, look, I am lucky. I have a handful that are like very, very good. And the more they see me work, the more they get involved in work. So it's like a never-ending thing at this point,
right?
Because they love it, and they believe in me, and then they believe in themselves because I believe in them, and they know if I'm going to go higher, they're going to go higher with me too.
Absolutely.
And I'm taking them along for the ride. So, I'm grateful and thankful for that. But what happens is in the long run, it's very hard because people, especially when it comes to trying to find people in LA, they just don't want to work.
Oh yeah.
They do not want to work.
They want the handout.
They want the handout. They want the shortcut. They want to find the quick money from here, quick money from there. I mean, none of that quick money lasts.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
It doesn't make it worth it.
It doesn't make it worth it. You don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to properly use it. You're not learning anything new. It's just boring. And then you're looking at your life later. Yeah, okay, what? You make $1 million, but it doesn't mean anything. $1 million is nothing.
Yeah, and it goes so fast too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, what do you think the hardest thing in developing a business is?
The hardest thing in developing a business is for the person to stay committed. Because what happens is someone will have an idea and they'll say, hey, I want to do this idea. But like human nature in general, they'll go and ask friends, hey, what do you think? What do you think?
Spread the word.
Spread the word. Rule number one, never talk about something until you have it done.
Absolutely, I agree.
Number two, you're going to tell people, they're going to criticize it. And then it's going to change your mindset. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? Number three, someone's going to intentionally distract you with something else along the way so that you don't have the time to focus on what you want to do because they're too lazy to do something in their own lives that they can't see you want to accomplish something in yours.
Absolutely.
So the hardest thing is to believe in yourself and be able to block out the noise and just do your part and bring it past the 50% stage. If you're bringing it past a certain stage and then let people see. But it's taking that first step, the first 10 steps.
Absolutely. I preach it all the time. Like, you cannot grow in anything that you do if you don't believe in yourself.
Correct.
Your attitude assumptions about money is going to affect how much money you're going to have. If you believe you're only worth a certain amount, then it's kind of like your thermostat's set for that, and anything above that, you're going to self-sabotage to be able to get to that place, right? I think the number one skill to master in the 21st century for success is our ability to learn quickly. Your ability to learn rapidly and translate that learning into action is the ultimate competitive advantage in an age of information. The faster you can learn, the faster you can earn, because knowledge today is not only power, knowledge is profit. I believe there's no such thing as a good or bad brain. There's a trained brain and an untrained brain. So again, reasons reap results. Things have to go from I realize when it comes to money or any kind of wealth, things have to go from your head to your heart to your hands. Meaning you could visualize, have goals in your head for what you want to achieve in your life, financially and otherwise. But if you're not acting consistently with your hands, you're not going to get it, right? Usually what we have to check in with is the second H, which is the heart, right? What's the heart? The emotions, because we're not logical, right? People don't buy logically, they buy what? Emotionally, and they justify logically, because we are not logical, but we are biological. You mentioned serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins. We are this feeling chemical soup. And so how do we tap into more of those feelings? We remember things that make us feel a certain way. Even at events, to be able to stand out. It's not just what you know. That's why we teach people accelerated learning and speed reading and memory, but it's also who you know. But it's not even that. It's also who knows you, right? And who remembers you, and how do you stand out? And it's just like people won't remember what you say. They won't remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Most people, they think they forget things. They forget a name because they blame their retention. It's not your retention. Usually it's your attention. Your mindset are the set of assumptions and attitudes you have about something. Your attitude assumptions about money is going to affect how much money you're going to have. If you believe you're only worth a certain amount, then it's kind of like your thermoset's set for that, and anything above that, you're going to self-sabotage to be able to get to that place, right? Your mindset about not only money, but yourself, what you believe is possible. Do you believe it's possible for you to have a big business or have a million followers on social media? Do you believe it's possible to be able to be a good public speaker or an investor? It's not only what you believe is possible, it's also what you believe you're capable of, and also what you believe you deserve also as well. So that's your mindset. Even when it comes to remembering names, your brain is this incredible supercomputer, and your self-talk is the program it will run. So if you tell yourself, I'm not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. So that's the mindset. But somebody can have a limitless mindset, believe they're capable of it, they deserve it, and still be stuck in that box for making money or learning or whatever because they're not motivated to get out of that box. And I'll give everybody right now a 3-part secret, 3-part elements for a formula for limitless motivation. For those of you who have self-sabotage issue, that's a mindset thing. If you procrastinate, that's a motivation issue. You need P times E times S3. Purpose times energy times small, simple steps will give you limitless motivation. Meaning the P is purpose.
We believe, we stand in faith, but nothing is changing. Nothing feels any different, still dark outside. This is what faith is all about. You can't see it, but you've had to know you've passed midnight. Yes, it's still dark outside, but the sun is on its way up. I'm also sure you heard people talk about wishing they had more money to pay the bills or to take vacation just to take a little bit pressure out of life. But before their lifestyle can change, their wish need to become a desire. If they really desire change, they wouldn't spend their evenings watching TVs and wishing they were doing something better. The backbone of an ego desire to change is discipline. True ambition is discipline. Ego desire.
To succeed, leaders are readers. Who you spend time with is who you become. You hear this all the time, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. You spend time with 9 broke people, you're going to be number 10. Because we have something in our nervous system called mirror neurons, and so we're constantly imitating people around us unconsciously. And what are we imitating? Watch, W-A-T-C-H. We're imitating their words. We tend to use the same words as the people we spend time with, right? And who we spend time with, we tend to model their integrity, their level of honesty, their level of impeccability, right? And then I read this quote, I don't know who to attribute to. They say, integrity is measured by the distance between someone's lips and their life. What do you think life is? What does C stand for? Choice. Like, I truly believe it's the choices. Like, people chose to watch or listen to this right now, and their life is going to be different because they did, right? Like, what are you choosing is to feed your mind, to feed your body, who are you spending time with, where you're going to live, your careers. All those little choices add up to big choices. And I do believe that these difficult times, if you perceive it that way, can distract you. These difficult times can diminish you, or these difficult times can develop you. We decide. We always have the choice every single day. With great responsibility comes great power. When we take responsibility for where we are, we have great power to make things better. So instead of blaming and complaining, right? When we make excuses, we waste time, we waste energy, and nobody really cares, right? But we can't be upset by the results we didn't get from the work we didn't do. And so taking responsibility for what happens allows us to have agency and power to make things better.
In other words, there were behaviors and thoughts you've had in the past that were needed to produce the result you're currently having, but you need to stop what's no longer needed, right? So ask yourself that question: what do I need to drop that's no longer needed? Is it the behavior? Is it a person? One of those things you've probably carrying with you from the past, but that thought, that behavior, that person is no longer needed for you to go to the next level of your identity, the next level of yourself. Do not let other people control your emotion, because in life no one is you, and that is your power. You can control two things: your work ethic and your attitude about anything.
And so I feel like the most important thing to take agency over is what to focus on, what things mean, how we feel, as opposed to politics or the economy, or how people treat us. And I think people who do that don't have to waste a whole lot of energy, and they put that energy towards something like building their intelligence, their income, their impact.
Why is it important for people to invest into their minds, their events, masterminds, books, coaching, listening to podcasts? Why is it important to invest into their brains?
Your brain is your number one wealth building asset, bar none. We live in the age of intelligence, and attention. And when those people who are at the top of their game, they have mastered their mind. And here's the thing: when I said life is the C between B and D, and C is choice, our lives are a reflection of all the decisions we've made up to this point. Where to invest, what to do for a career, how to work, what to eat, all those things. But you could only make good decisions based on the information you know at any given time. Right? And so there's this gap, certainly, of those who have and those who have not, certainly. But there's also this gap of those who know and those who just don't know. And what I love about your podcast, and the work that you guys do on social media and different platforms, is you could give people some insight and some instruction, and they know something different, so it could inform their decisions moving forward. At any given time, you can only make a decision based on information you know. And if you don't remember that information, you can't make a quality decision, right? And the other part of it is asking better questions. This is the thing, I talk about in Limitless that there's this idea of a dominant question where you have about 60,000 thoughts a day, and those thoughts equal things, right? The problem is 95% of those thoughts are the same thoughts we had yesterday and the day before that. So we wonder why we can't make more money, but we constantly run the same thoughts, right? And those thoughts lead to experiences that lead to actions and behaviors and feelings, and we're just repeating the cycle. And so that's why it's so hard to change. But a lot of those thoughts come in the form of questions, and I do believe questions are the answer. You have part of your brain called the reticular activating system, RAS for short, that dictates where you put the spotlight of your attention, meaning your brain primarily is a deletion device. It's trying to keep information out. Because if you let everything in, you would go insane. You would be totally overloaded. What you let in are the things that you care about, like your name. It doesn't matter. It is hardwired in your nervous system, your RAS. If you ever hear your name, somebody shout out your name, even in a crowd, even if you don't know that person, you're still instinctively going to look, because it's hardwired in your RAS. One of the ways of influencing your RAS is asking questions, and asking you shall receive. And so, with Peter Thiel, 0 to 1, if he has a question like, how do I hit my 10-year goal in 6 months, you're going to get different quality answers than somebody who just says, why am I broke? Or why can I never make money? Or why can't I do this? You're going to get different answers. So I would say we have a dominant question. Like my dominant question growing up was, it's like, why am I broken? But that wasn't very useful, right? Then I was like, how do I fix this? And then my question became, how do I make this better, right? I know somebody else who has a question that we did this exercise in this book, and they're like, their dominant question is, how do I get people to like me? And that's what all she thinks about all the time. And you don't know anything about her, but you probably know a lot about her. How's her personality? She's a martyr. Her personality changes depending on who she spends time with. She's a people pleaser, right? And she's a sycophant. And you know a lot about her, and you know one question. My question for all of you listening, what's your dominant question? And how can you use it to create more wealth? Right? I think gratitude is the foundation for good wealth. That's my personal opinion. I think gratitude is riches, complaint is poverty. I really think that life is a lottery we won every single day. And life, I've heard, I've known you a long time, and that life is, tomorrow's not guaranteed
Right.
with either of you, especially when you are around,
In the jungle.
like- yeah, exactly. Or the
Literally.
jungle, or the economic jungle,
Or the concrete jungle.
marketplace, right? People are coming after you as you're doing these big deals and everything else. You become a target. And what, I'm here, when we're having this conversation about this. I think gratitude is a foundation, because what you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate tends to appreciate in life, meaning it grows. And that's the thing. If you want to feel truly wealthy, just count all the things you have in your life that money can't buy. I mean, all the things that you wouldn't trade for $1. Like you don't want to be on a beach for all the money in the world, because you want to be in the game, right? Because it's an infinite game. It doesn't stop, right? There's no winning, your career, right? There's like Simon Sinek talks about, just like there's no winning marriage, right? It's never stops, in terms of game. There's no winning health. You never get to a point where you just have it. Same thing with wealth. And so in my mind, in terms of game theory, what I'm thinking about is have a foundation of gratitude. Like, what if here's a thought experiment. And if you want to feel grateful and knowing everything comes from gratitude, because how are you going to have more if you don't appreciate what you have, right? What if you did this thought experiment? What if the only things you had in your life tomorrow were the things you expressed gratitude for today? Expressed it, not just thought about it, but expressed it. I think the formula is you learn to earn to return, right? You learn so you could earn. The faster you can learn, the more you can earn, certainly in this economy. And then you could have more to be able to return and to be able to give, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but you also, when you're doing it, it's selfish, because when you're giving back, you're training your mind, body, and spirit that there's enough, that you don't have lack. Like, because sometimes we need to do difficult things. Like if you just do easy things in life, you guys know this, because life gets very hard.
If you can stay positive in a negative situation, you win, because respect is for those who deserve it, not for those who demand it. Rule number 1: if you are the smartest person in your room, you are in the wrong room. Just imagine the happiness you can give yourself if you focus on your goals and not on people. So it's easy for us to fake smile than to explain